Tonight on Safety Optional, we're back working on our Jeep project. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Safety Optional. Tonight we're working on the Jeep truck again, finally. I know you've been waiting for a long time, but there's kind of 4 ladies and 8 kids that have kind of had a say in kind of where we spend our time and what we've been doing. But tonight we are finally back working on the project. We're not quite sure what we're going to be doing tonight. We've got a lot that we need to do, but the goal at the end of the night is going to be have the engine living inside the engine compartment, have all the accessories mounted to the front, maybe have some wiring on it, hopefully get the new mount finished for the transmission, and maybe drop the fuel tank so we can start figuring out our fuel system. So the next time we get together, we can start talking about how we're going to get this thing to fire up. So tonight, going to be a lot of just early enabling work for that to happen. But let's go ahead and get started. All right. So I'm up underneath the truck now, and I'm going over everything that we need to do to pull the fuel tank. And there's these 2 straps here that hold it, and there's this little slight, I don't even know what you'd call it, a splash guard, or it's definitely not a skid plate. But that looks like that needs to come off, and then we can drop the fuel tank down. Here's where the fuel pump and sending unit goes, and then these are all the fuel lines. The idea is going to be to reuse these fuel lines, but the stock fuel pump doesn't put out enough fuel pressure to run a fuel injected V8. So this is going to have to change, and we're going to have to figure out a solution for that. Maybe we can run an inline pump mounted up here or something like that, but first we need to make sure the fuel tank works and is in good shape. So I've disconnected it here, and I'm going to proceed with unbolting it, taking it down, getting it out of here. There's the fuel filter too. This is also another location where we could potentially run the inline pump, and then the lines go forward there. But first we just got to figure out what we're doing. When you're working on a vehicle, there's many perils that you might run across, and here's one of them. Oh! Fortunately, this is old, but there's another one. They were right up there on the bottom of the underside of the bed. Look.
I don't know that this hose is gonna survive.
You need to cut it. We can cut it. Just cut it off,
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna cut it.
There you go.
Thank you. That one's off.
Oh, I'm okay. Oh, I got it off.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
How'd you do that? I gotta bring my kid up here sometime.
Well, you want to go and get the gantry crane here? There you go. All right, here's our Jeep truck fuel tank. All right, I'm going to go ahead and knock out the ring here on this thing to take the go ahead and take the fuel pump out. Of course, the damn thing's not going to turn. There we go. You gotta take that little ring off. And then,
Sons of bitches.
Take this other ring off.
Okay.
what do
Oh, there you go.
like, let's see what it looks like inside.
Ooh.
Oh gosh, that's not a pretty sight.
Fine to me.
Yeah, look
Oh,
at that.
sweet.
Look at, oh gosh, look at that. That rubber is just gooified. Hey, give me a flashlight.
It is.
That is gross.
Wow, look at this thing. It's in fantastic shape, though.
No, that's not. That is, it should be white.
Oh, I bet it turns the color the second you put it in there. Hey, check it out, though. This is still working pretty well.
Yeah, but this won't work anyway for our needs, so it doesn't even matter.
Calcified, or, well, not probably not calcified.
All right.
Something-ified.
Time for our
calcified.
close-up. All right, so let's go into the belly of the beast and see what we see in there. Ooh, looks green. See if I can. So we got some gas in there that, oh my gosh, it smells like anything but gasoline. It smells like varnish or turpentine or something else. So yeah, we are gonna have to definitely dump it out, but the inside's clean. I don't see any rust. Let's see if we can see up on the roof. Yeah, gas tank's nice and clean. So that's a good sign.
Well, that's the safety optional way to deal with that gas.
Oh yeah, we're burning it. I bet this is so funky it doesn't even burn. But anyway, there's our fuel tank that we're going to use. We just need to figure out a solution for how we're going to get the pump and sending unit to work.
I want this on it. Right. 15 deep.
Man, it feels good to get all this work going here.
What
Are you talking to me or the camera?
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, man.
Yeah, it does.
This beer tastes a lot better when you haven't pounded a power over it. All right, I've got the plate that mounts to the transmission mounted up right there. So we can fly it in with that, and then we'll figure out the piece that bridges the gap and weld them up. Yeah. So in the future, you'll want to keep track of what your nuts and bolts came off of instead of just throwing them all in a bin. But for now, those will work to make our mounting surface here for that.
Always a good idea to keep track of your nuts. I keep mine in my wife's purse.
Mid portion is like like an inch or here. All right, so I'm down here underneath while they're monkeying with the pulley up there.
They're both the same.
And I'm working on adjusting the angle of the transmission here. And I want to make sure if I crank it up, it'll tip the engine down, so it'll give us a little bit more hood clearance. But I want this down far enough that we can actually work on the linkage and everything that needs to be worked on down here, route lines and everything. So I think I've got it just about where I want it. And it doesn't have any play left to right, which is good. I've got the transmission cross member in here, and it looks like all we need are some plates to go between here. And I've got to figure out how I want to run them. I think ideally we're going to run some 1/4-inch plate from here down and then from here down. So it'll kind of hang off cantilever on that side, but that's because this whole thing is somewhat asymmetrical. So we'll put a plate in here and a plate there. So now I've got to mock it up with some cardboard. All right, I'm up underneath it and I've got the cardboard mocked up for the plates that I need. So here are this is the way I'm going to make the mount. That way it gives me access to the bolts here. But if I make plate steel this size, I can weld it in there and that'll provide the mount. And then if needed later, I could put a piece of plate in across the back to bridge it to stiffen it up. But for now, this should be sufficient. And then, like I said, we can weld a gusset plate in there in the back later. But this gives me access to all the bolts. And this one's a little bit longer, so it can reach forward and cover the whole plate here. So I'm going to take those and go cut them out of some 1/4-inch plate, and then bring them back here, fit them up, and then weld it. All right, I've got my plates cut, and they are ready to go up in there. I'm ready to tack weld this bad boy into place. So I'm just going to tack it, and then we'll pull it all apart, take it out, and then we'll finish weld it with the big welder. All right, those are some of the boogeriest welds I've ever done, but I'm going to go ahead and tack it a few more times, then I'll pull it out and we'll weld it up the right way. It's been forever since I MIG welded, but yeah, I'll get the hang of it here again before too long. All right, so here we've got one genuine safety optional transmission mount to adapt a 4L60 to a stock Comanche crossmember. This bad boy, we're going to install it here in just a minute, and it'll be able to live semi-permanently on the Jeep truck. So tonight, this bad boy is staying in the truck for the first time ever. Let's get it bolted up.
There's way more than enough.
Okay. Can you pick up that in?
Alright.
Yeah, okay, the next step is we get the new one.
There she is installed.
That's research task.
That's our transmission mount adapter there. All right, it is time to open up the latest box. No, it's not fan mail because we don't receive fan mail, although we greatly appreciate all the new subscribers to the channel. And quite literally, the only reason we ask for
You should edit that in there. You know?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, exactly.
Fuck you, GoPro.
Yeah, literally the only reason why we ever ask for subscribers is because the more subscribers we get, the more better case I have for convincing my wife to let me buy more crap and do more projects. All right, so what do we have here, Eric?
This is the wiring harness we're going to use on our new to us V8. And it's going to reuse the computer from the Tahoe. But it's way easier just to buy a new harness than it is to try and repurpose the old one and eliminate all the unneeded connections.
So what we've got here, we're not going to unbundle it, but here's all the different connections. There's the OBD2 port right here underneath this.
You already got their connection.
Those for the computer. This round one down here goes to the transmission. It's already got a grommet for the firewall, and here's the fuse panel with the relays.
Pretty.
Yeah,
and
this
we
is
got this
freaking
from
boss.
oddly diffs only. Apparently not diffs only.
Yeah, kind of.
Thanks, Wayne. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, Wayne was recommended by the folks on Pirate 4x4, who we're all members of and have been using as a resource for a lot of information about this build. So we've got the wiring harness ready. So next week we'll start putting that in. So we'll solve the wiring problem Then we need to solve fuel, exhaust, and cooling. All right, guys, we didn't get as much done tonight as we'd originally hoped, but we've made some big progress. The engine now resides in the Jeep for good. It's got the motor mounts bolted up, holding it up here at the engine, and then we've got our transmission adapter holding it at the back end. So it's in there. It's completely rigid. It's mounted in. It's got bushings. It's done right. So next time we'll be able to start working on wiring it up and making sure that all of that stuff is going to work. Little by little, we're getting there. So tonight, just getting this thing to where it is going to permanently reside in the Jeep, that's the biggest step. So I really appreciate you guys sticking with us. I know it's been a long time since we last posted a video. Hopefully it's not as long before the next one. We just have too many other projects and things we've got going on. We all have lives. We all have wives and kids, and it's just tough. But we really appreciate you guys sticking with us. To all the new people that have subscribed in the meantime, I really appreciate it. We all really, really appreciate it. You know, just so you guys know, we just do this for fun. This isn't any sort of professional deal. We don't have any aspirations of being big-time YouTubers like some of the other guys out there. We're just doing it for fun. So if you're watching this, we just really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We would have starved to death by now if we were trying to do it for a living.
No kidding. So guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. All right, a little bit of a postscript here. We decided to go ahead and install the exhaust manifolds and the steering just to show that it all works. Really just to prove it to ourselves. But yep, we've got unimpeded access for that steering shaft. The driver's side exhaust manifold is on there. And over here, the passenger side is on. So she is in there. She's looking good. We've got clearance. Everything fits up here in the front. So that's beautiful. When you drive around with that hood, everybody can see your V8. Thanks for watching Safety Optional. We'll see you next time.